Hello everyone, this is me Garima Singh. I hope you all are doing well. Today we will discuss the ninth chapter of class 11th economics Ncert, that is environment and sustainable development. So let's move on to this chapter. What's it's all about environment and sustainable development. Introduction is about what is environment and here its function. So I'm gonna discuss few basic terms like what is environment. Environment, it is defined as the total planetary inheritance and totality of all resources. It includes all the biotic and abiotic element that influence each other. So what is biotic and abiotic? Biotic is all living element like bird, animal, plant, forest, fisheries, human being, and abiotic is all non-living animals, air, water, land, rock, sunlight, etc. Environment, define its, here it is, that's what I have just discussed. So there are two type of resources, renewable and non-renewable. Firstly, discuss renewable resource. These are those which can be used without the possibility of the resource becoming depleted or exhausted. That is, a continuous supply of resources remain available. For example, trees in forest and the fish in the ocean, that is renewable. They renew. After they renew. Then non-renewable. These are those which get exhausted with extraction, that is fossil fuel. They recovered after a billion of years. That is non-renewable. They do renew it after a million or a billion of years. Renewable, they keep on in renew basis. Then we will discuss function of environment. First one is supplies resource. So resources such as renewable and non-renewable source of energy is supplied by the environment. Then assimilate waste. Here it is assimilate waste. It production and consumption activity generate waste which is absorbed by the environment, then sustains life. Here, so it sustains life by providing essential element like sun, soil, air, water, etc. Then aesthetic services. The environment provide aesthetic services like scenery, which include river, ocean, mountain, desert. So these are the function of environment. Let's move on to the environment crisis. These all are environment crisis. Let's go back. These are environment crisis. So environment crisis, the environment is able to perform these functions without any interruption as long as the demand on these function is within its carrying capacity. This means that if resources extraction is not above the rate of regeneration, the environment will fail to perform its function. Consequence of environment crisis: development and polluted and dried up the river and other aquifers, which has deteriorated the quality of water. Then the intensive and extensive extraction of both renewable and non-renewable resource has exhausted some vital resource, compelling to spend huge amount of money on technology and research to explore new resources that decline in air and water quality has resulted in number of respiratory and waterborne diseases. These are consequences of environment crisis. Now we will discuss the two basic problems relating to environment. First is problem of pollution. Second is problem of excessive exploitation of natural resources. So firstly we discuss pollution. I hope it's given in detail. These are all about pollution. No, it's all about sustainable development. Here is a PCB. Chipku. Then here is the ozone depletion or lead to environmental crisis. Let's discuss pollution and then global warming. So pollution, it is contamination of useful things such as air, water, land, etc. with undesirable or harmful materials like coal, gases, smoke, poisonous chemical. There are major form of pollution: air pollution, noise pollution, land pollution, water pollution. Now let's discuss global warming. It is a gradual increase in the average temperature of Earth lower atmosphere as a global warming is caused by man-made that increases in CO2 and other greenhouse gases through the burning of fossil fuel and deforestation. Long-term result of global warming is melting of polar ice with the resulting rise in the sea level and coastal flooding, then extension of species as ecological niche disappear, then more frequent tropical storm, then an increased incidence of tropical diseases, rise of atmospheric temperature. We will discuss an ozone depletion. It refers to reduction in the amount of ozone in the stratosphere. The problem of depletion, ozone depletion, is caused by high level of CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, used as cooling substance in air conditioner and refrigerator or as aerosol propellants, and bromofluorocarbon used in fire extinguisher. These all lead to ozone depletion. As a result of depletion of the ozone layer, more ultraviolet, that is UV radiation, comes to Earth, causing damage to living organisms. The threat to India's environment poses a dichotomy: threat of poverty-induced environment degradation and at the same time threat of pollution from effluents and rapidly growing industrial sector. Air pollution, water contamination, soil erosion, deforestation and wildlife extinction is some of the most pressing environmental concern of India. The issues identified in India are priority issues apart from this global warming that is at a global level and ozone depletion. Priority issues are land degradation, biodiversity loss, air pollution with special reference to vehicular pollution in urban cities, management of fresh water, solid waste management, then land degradation. So it referred to decline in the overall quality of soil, water or vegetation condition commonly caused by human activities. Some of the factor that is responsible for land degradation: loss of vegetation occurring due to deforestation, forest fire and overgrazing, improper crop rotation, encroachment into forest land, shifting cultivation, indiscriminate use of agrochemicals such as fertilizer, pesticides, improper planning and management of irrigation system, extraction of groundwater in excess of the recharge capacity, poverty of the agriculture dependent people, non-adoption of adequate soil conservation measures. These are the factors responsible for land degradation. Here, land degradation. Now let's discuss facts related to Chipko movement. So Chipko and Apiko movement are related to protest forest. Chipko movement aimed at protecting forest in Himalaya. Chipko means to hug. In Karnataka, similar movement took a different name aimed at protecting forest, that is Apiko movement. Then there is a pollution control board here. So in order to address two major environmental concerns in India, that is water and air pollution, the government set up the Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB) in 1974. Board investigate, collect and disseminate information relating to water and air pollution, lay down standard of sewage, trade effluent and emission. What are the functions of CPCB? Central Board at the national level advise the central government on any matter concerning prevention and control of water and air pollution and improvement of the quality of air, then plan and cause to be exhausted a nationwide program for the prevention, control or abatement of water and air pollution, then provide technical assistance and guidance to the state board, carry out and sponsor investigation and research relating to problem of water and air pollution for their prevention, control or abatement, then plan and organize training for person engaged in program on the prevention, then organize thorough mass media or comprehensive mass awareness program on the prevention, control or abatement of water and air pollution. Now we will discuss sustainable development. It is that process of development which meet the need of the present generation without reducing the ability of a future generation to meet their own need. That is sustainable development. Then feature of sustainable development: sustainable rise in real per capita income and economic welfare, rational use of natural resources, no reduction in the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs, check on pollution. To achieve sustainable development, the following need to be done. To achieve following things need to be done. Renewable resource should be extracted on a sustainable basis. That is, the rate of extraction should not exceed rate of regeneration. Then technological progress should be input efficient, not input consuming. Then next you can write, for non-renewable resource, rate of depletion should not exceed the rate of creation of renewable substitute. Inefficiency arising from population should be corrected. Strategies for sustainable development: use of non-conventional source of energy, then use of non-conventional source of energy, use of cleaner. These are the strategy for sustainable development. First is use of non-conventional source of energy. Non-conventional like solar, water, air, wind, that can be renewed easily. Then use of cleaner fuel, LPG, gobar gas in rural area, and CNG in urban area, as well as these biomasses fuel. Then use of solar energy and wind energy in area where speed of wind is usually high. Windmill can provide electricity without any adverse impact on environment. So wind power, then solar power through photovoltaic cell, solar energy. Then traditional knowledge and practices, shift to organic farming, public means of transport, mini hydel plant, bio composting, almost basically switch to compost from chemical fertilizers, then biopest control. These are the ways for sustainable development. Now we will discuss its questions. So let's move on to first question. What is meant by environment? Environment is defined as the total planetary inheritance and the totality of all resources. It includes all the biotic and abiotic factors that influence each other. Biotic elements are living elements: bird, animal, plant, forest, fisheries, human being, etc. Those who have life, that are biotic. Abiotic elements like air, water, land, rock, sunlight, etc. Next is what happens when the rate of resource extraction exceeds than that of their regeneration. Environment includes sun, soil, water and air, which are essential ingredients for the sustenance of human life. The carrying capacity of the environment implies that resource extraction is not above the rate of regeneration of the resources, and the waste generated are within the assimilating capacity of environment. So carrying capacity of the environment helps to sustain life. Absence of carrying capacity of environment means absence of life. Next is classify the following into renewable and non-renewable. So trees, fish are renewable resources, petroleum, coal, iron ore non-renewable. Water is somewhere renewable, but used in excess, then it is also come under the category of non-renewable. Two major environmental issues facing world today are global warming and ozone depletion. How do the following factors contribute to the environment? What problem do they pose? First is rising population. The high rate of growth of population adversely affect the environment. It certainly lead to soil and water pollution. Next is air pollution. India is one of the 10 most industrialized nations of the world. It led to unplanned urbanization, population, and the risk of accident. The CPCP Central Pollution Control Board has identified 7 categories of industries which are significant polluters. Water contamination. Many states in India are on the edge of famine. Whatever water is available, it is polluted or contaminated. It causes diseases like diarrhea and hepatitis. Effluent consumption standard. With effluent consumption standard, people use more air conditioners. CFCs are used as cooling agent in air condition, which lead to ozone depletion, as well as CFC is used in refrigerator also. Illiteracy. Illiteracy and ignorance about the use of non-renewable resource, alternative energy source lead to environmental crisis. Industrialization. With rise in national income or economic activity, there is a rise in industrialization and urbanization. This raises pollution of air, water, and noise. There are accidents, shortage of water, housing problem, etc. In other words, with rise in national income, there is ecological degradation, which reduce welfare of the people. Urbanization, whenever there is a large migration of population from rural to urban area, it leads to fast growth of slum areas. There is excess of load on the existing infrastructure facility. It causes environmental degradation and ill health. Next is reduction of forest coverage. The per capita forest land in the country is only 0.8 hectare. There is excess felling of about 15 million cubic meter forest over the permissible limit. Indiscriminate felling of trees has led to restriction of forest cover. Once forests have been cut down, essential nutrition are washed out of the soil altogether. This lead to soil erosion. It lead to disastrous flooding since there is no soil to soak up the rain. Poaching. Poaching lead to extinction of wildlife. The long-term result. Next is global warming. So the long-term result of global warming are melting of polar caps with resulting rise in sea level, coastal flooding, disruption of drinking water supply as snow melts, extinction of species, frequent tropical storm and tropical diseases. Next is what are the function of environment. So first is environment supply. Resources include both renewable and non-renewable. Renewable resources are those which can be used without possibility of the resource being depleted or exhausted and on the other hand, non-renewable are which are exhausted after some period of time like fossil fuel. Environment to sustain life. Environment includes sun, soil, water, air, which are essential ingredients for the sustenance of human life. The carrying capacity of the environment implies that resource extraction is not above the rate of regeneration of the resources, and the waste generated are within the assimilating capacity of environment. So carrying capacity of the environment help to sustain life. Environment assimilate waste. Production and consumption activity generate waste. These occur mostly in form of garbage. Environment absorb garbage. Next, environment enhance quality of life. Environment include oceans, mountains, desert. Man enjoy these surroundings, adding to the quality of life. Identify 6 factors contributing to land degradation in India. First one is loss of vegetation occurring due to deforestation. Second, shifting cultivation. Third, encroachment into forest land. Fourth, forest fire and overgrazing. Fifth, unsustainable fuel, wood and powder extraction. Sixth, non-adoption of adequate soil conservation measures. Eighth, explain how the opportunity cost of negative environmental impact are high. Opportunity cost is the cost of alternative or opportunity given up. The opportunity has to pay huge amount for damage done to human health. The health cost due to degraded environment quality have resulted in disease like asthma, cholera. Huge expenditure is incurred in treating the diseases. Outline the step involved in attaining sustainable development India. Uh, that biopest control, biocomposting, traditional knowledge and practices, mini hydel plants, solar power through photovoltaic cell, wind power, CNG in urban area, LPG, gobar gas in rural area, use of non-conventional source of energy. These are strategy to achieve sustainable development. India has abundant natural resources, substantiate the statement. India has a rich quality of natural resource in plenty. India has rich quality of soil, hundred of river, tributaries, lush green forests, abundant mineral deposit under the land surface, vast stretch of the Indian Ocean, mountain ranges. The black soil of Deccan Plateau is particularly suitable for cultivation of cotton. It has led to concentration of textile industry in the region. The Indo-Gangetic veins separated from Arabian Sea to the Bay of Bengal are one of the most fertile, intensely cultivated and densely populated region in the world. Then India's forests provide green cover for majority of its population and natural cover for its wildlife. Then large deposit of iron ore, coal and natural gas are found in the country. India alone accounts for nearly 20% of the world total iron ore reserve. Then bauxite, copper, chromate, diamond, gold, lead, lignite, manganese, zinc, uranium, chromate, etc. are also available in different parts of the country. Is the environmental crisis a recent phenomenon? If so, why? India is suffering from population explosion. India has approximately 20% of livestock population on a meter or 2.5% of the world geographical area. The high density of population and livestock and the competing uses of land for forestry, agriculture, pasture, human settlement, industry exert an enormous pressure on the country's finite land resource. Then per capita forest land in the country is only 0.08 hectare. There is an excess felling of about 15 million cubic meter forest over the permissible limit. Indiscriminate felling of trees had led to destruction of forest fire. Then now, third, give two instances of overuse of environmental resource. There is a massive overuse and misuse of environmental resources. Example: overuse of environmental resources are deforestation and land degradation. Deforestation, land degradation. Misuse of Misuse, ozone depletion and global misuse of environmental resources lead to global warming and ozone depletion and overuse, land degradation and deforestation. State any four pressing environment concern of India. Correction for environmental damage and both opportunity cost. Explain. Pressing environment concern of India: global warming and ozone depletion. Global warming is a gradual increase in the average temperature of Earth's lower atmosphere as a result of the increase in greenhouse gases due to industrialization in recent time. Next is ozone depletion. The depletion of ozone layer has been caused by high level of chlorine and bromine compound in stratosphere. It causes skin cancer and lower the production of aquatic organisms. Then environmental crisis, the rising population of the developing countries and the effluent consumption and production standard of the developed world have put a great stress on the environment in terms of its function of supplying resources and assimilating waste. Then massive overuse and misuse of environmental resource. There is a massive overuse and misuse of environmental resource which lead to deforestation, land degradation, ozone depleting, global warming. Now the next is we discuss four pressing environmental concern. Four pressing, I'm gonna repeat again, just the heading. Massive overuse and misuse of environmental resource, environmental crisis, ozone depletion, global warming. Next part is correction for environment damage involved. Correction of environmental damage involve huge opportunity cost. It is the cost of alternate opportunity given up. The country has to pay huge amount for damage done to human health. The health costs due to degraded environmental quality have resulted in disease like asthma, cholera. So huge expenditure is incurred on treating these diseases. Next is explain the supply demand reversal of environmental resource. Supply demand reversal of environmental resource. The demand for resource for both production and consumption has gone beyond the rate of regeneration of the resource, increasing the pressure on absorptive capacity of environment. This reversal of the supply-demand relationship, with demand for resources exceeding the supply, has led to the generation of the environment. Next is 15th, account for current environmental crisis. Um, Current environmental crisis due to land degradation, biodiversity loss, air pollution, management of freshwater and solid waste. Next is highlight any two serious adverse environmental consequences of development in India. India's environmental problem pose a dichotomy. So in this you can write first one is biodiversity loss. India has approximately 20% of livestock population on a mere 2.5% of world geographical area. The high density of population and livestock and the compensating uses of land for forestry, agriculture, pasture, human settlement and industries exert an enormous pressure on the country's finite land resources. Then the per capita forest land in the country is only zero point 0.8 hectare. There is an excess felling of about 15 million cubic meter forest over the permissible limit. Next is air pollution 2. First I have discussed. Next is air pollution. First was biodiversity loss. Next is air pollution. In India, air pollution is widespread in urban areas where vehicles are the major contributor. Vehicular emission are of a particular concern since these are ground level sources and thus have the maximum impact on the general population. The number of motor vehicles has increased from about 3 lakh in 1951 to 67 crore in 2000. Then India is one of the 10 most industrialized nations of the world. It has led to unplanned urbanization, population risk of accident. Next is a dichotomy of the threat to India's environment. The development activities in India have resulted in pressure on its finite natural resources. Beside creating impact on human health and well-being, the threat to India's environment poses a dichotomy: threat of poverty-induced environment degradation and at the same time threat of pollution from effluents and a rapidly growing industrial sector. Air pollution, water contamination, soil erosion, deforestation, and wildlife extinction are some of the most pressing environmental concerns of India. What is sustainable development? Sustainable development implies meeting the basic need of everyone, basically the basic need of present generation, and extending to all the opportunity to satisfy their aspiration for better life without compromising on the need of future generation. Next is keeping in view your locality. Describe any four strategy of sustainable development. Solar energy should be used, that is put up. People should use less air conditioner. People should use herbal cosmetics. People should not use a polythene bag. Instead, they must use bag made of paper. So all bags made of paper. Say no to polythene. Then herbal cosmetics. Less use of air conditioner. Then solar energy should be more in use. Explain the relevance of intergenerational equity in the definition of sustainable development. The Brundtland Commission emphasis on protecting the future generation. This is in line with the argument of the environmentalist who emphasizes that we have a moral obligation to hand over the planet Earth in good order to the future generation. That is, the present generation should give better environment to the future generation, no less than what we have inherited. According to the UNCED, United Nations Conference on Environmental and Development, sustained development is a development that meet the need of the present generation without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. That was all about this chapter. In the next lab chapter, we will read about 10th chapter. This was the 9th chapter. Thank you.